Hey guys, welcome to your last few weeks of reading. This video is going to serve as your introduction for your final reading project. This will be your last grade. All of your grades should be updated and good to go. We are done with the Diary of Anne Frank, and you guys have done awesome work, especially during map testing. So I'm going to go over what our final project is, what that looks like, and some deadlines for it. Okay. All right, so your final project, it is a synthesis. That means it's a culmination, it's a connection over everything that you've learned this year, and it is a synthesis time capsule. So it's been a year, and I think we can all agree that the end of the year can't come fast enough. You've endured innumerable transitions, especially with you being fully online all year. You've observed a historical election and everything that went along with that. You witnessed extreme political unrest, and you read books, took the NWEA 3 times, and you took math, and you wrote several papers. It has definitely been a year. And so this project is going to be a culmination, a synthesis of all of those things this year. These are your 3 learning objectives, kind of an overall project breakdown. So number 1, I can demonstrate my critical thinking skills developed over the course of the school year. Number 2, I can synthesize the major academic takeaways of the school year into thoughtful conclusions. And number 3, I can reflect on my growth both academically and personally through a creative outlet. So those are the 3 things that you are accomplishing with this project. Okay, now I'm going to go over kind of the 3 elements to this project, and I'll go over them in a lot of detail. Okay, so the 3 parts that you're going to be graded on are going to be a journal, and I will show you what that looks like, what the outside of your time capsule looks like, and then the objects on the inside of the time capsule. Okay, now a time capsule is typically a box or a container, and it has objects that represent things from the school year. I have not done this project before with students, so I went ahead and I made a model one. I'm going to go grab that. And I'm going to use mine as an example so you can kind of see what we're looking at here, okay? So it's backwards, sorry, but that says Mrs. Sapanoff's time capsule. You'll see pictures. I have articles. I have all sorts of stuff all over it, okay? So that is going to be the first thing that you will do. Your first phase is finding a vessel, okay? We kind of have a funny quote there that says the 2020-21 school year is like looking both ways before crossing the street and then getting hit by an airplane. There is obviously just a lot that happened this year. So your vessel, it can be a shoebox, it can be a plastic container, it can be a Pringles can, it can be an Amazon box. Whatever you want it to be, it just needs to be big enough to hold the objects that you want to choose, and it needs to have a lid, okay? I chose a shoebox. That's what I had lying around our house. Just choose any physical container. So you're going to go and find a container that you are going to use for your time capsule. And then phase 2, the interior component. So how have you changed, grown, learned, and evolved over the past year? Okay. So inside your capsule, what I've done is these 4 artifacts are our 4 units, and I've reworked them to where there's an essential question that you'll be answering, okay? Every single artifact has a journal entry and then 2 other objects, okay? Your journal entry will just be a reflection question. I will go over that in a minute, and you don't have to print it out. You will just be submitting that on Schoology. Then you're actually going to find and put in your time capsule physical objects, okay? And I'm going to go over this in more detail on your planning sheet. And then phase 3 is going to be the outside of your time capsule. If you notice on mine, I had a lot of things glued on there. And so the exterior of your vessel will contain a mosaic. That's just small pieces all collaged together to tell a bigger story of a variety of media. The following items must be reflected on the outside of your vessel in some way, okay? So you need earliest memories of the beginning of the pandemic, school-related, earliest memories of the beginning of the pandemic, not school-related, one item per season. So spring 2020, summer 2020, fall 2020, winter 2020, and spring 21. A significant shift in your life over the past year, a major world event from outside the US, a major event within the US that interested, captivated, and inspired you, and something that occurred within the US that, what does that last word say? Sorry, friends, that upset you. Now, these can be really whatever you want. If you look on the medium side of things, you can do a QR code. It can be pictures. It can be old mail. It can be screenshots of text messages. It can be lyrics. Whatever you want to do, you are going to print those out and cut them out and put them on your box. So let me just show you an example of mine. So obviously I have my name on it. I have a few different things for seasons. So right here, that's from winter of 2020. Here is spring, a significant change in my life. I have a picture of me and my baby on the day that she was born. I decorated a little bit more with a significant change. So I have this is frequently asked questions that women were asking when they were pregnant during COVID, because I was pregnant in the middle of COVID. And so that was a really big shift in my life. And then that's a picture of my husband and I in masks the day I had my baby. This is my earliest memory of the pandemic. Not school related. I went and I found an article and I printed it out. It was from January, and it was talking about how there was this virus in Wuhan, and it came from a wet market, a seafood market, and it was saying there's no clear evidence of human to human transmission, and there had only been one death. It was honestly haunting to read about that, because then just a few months later, it just all went crazy. On the other side, I printed off the email. I'll open that so you can kind of see an email that Park Hill sent about closing until April. We got that email over spring break that we were going to close until April 3rd because of COVID. A little Zoom logo. On the back here, I have, this is hard to see, but it's a picture of the explosion in Beirut, if you remember that, the factory explosion. A picture of my classroom for fall of 2020. I did some pictures of Kamala Harris as something that inspired me. And then on the bottom, sorry, it's going to be crazy. I kind of went a different route with it. I did some pictures of the Capitol protest and of Black Lives Matters protest, and then of the president at the time, President Trump's tweets about both of those things, as something that was unsettling to me was the response to that. And so as you can see, I have all the different seasons, things like that. I don't have spring 2020 on here. You need to find pictures and stuff like that represent it. So you can do something like that. You can go a different route. I wanted to find texts from me and my friends and my husband about talking about COVID. I just couldn't find any on my phone, but you're just going to go through that list and come up with things to put on the outside. Okay. And then you can do that however you want. I used Mod Podge. You can use whatever's lying around your house. You can do glue, you can do tape, whatever. Okay. An easy way that I did that, just to show you guys again, if you can go about it a different way, but I just had a Word document open and I then had the list of everything that was on the outside of it, and you can find it on this slideshow and then the planning sheet that I'm going to show you. And I just went through and I got pictures from Facebook and put that on the document, and parts of an article and put it on the document. And then at the end, I printed all that off and cut it out and then arranged it on my box. Okay, so you can do that however you want. Okay, and let's talk about what is going to go in the insides. This is your planning spreadsheet, okay? You can read through this right here. Each artifact is a unit, remember? And so I go over, hey, this is what you read, this is what you wrote, and these are the things that we did in school. And then whether it was in person or online. And then these are the artifacts required. So Unit 1, Artifact 1, is why do relationships matter? This is when we read short stories. We also discussed literary elements in a story and explored the importance of relationships in the lottery, the landlady, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You're going to do your journal entry, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you have a physical artifact representing the most important relationship in your life up until now. and then an object representing what relationships were like for you during the 2020-21 school year. So for that one, I did the most important relationship in my life. This is kind of mushy-gushy, so like, sorry. This is a book called I Like You, and I gave this to my husband on our first Christmas together. And that's like represents one of the most important relationships in my life. And then in my time capsule, I put a mask to represent what relationships were like during the school year, because we all had to wear masks. It was like hard to see what people were feeling and gain and stuff like that. Okay, the next one, Artifact 2, how do our experiences and what we read influence our thinking? This is when we went over bias in the media and fact versus opinion and things like that. So your objects, if you look over here with me, is representing a trauma, tragedy, or adversity that you faced and has had a crucial impact on your identity. And then a physical artifact representative of something that symbolizes the adversity faced this particular school year. Okay, so for my personal adversity that I faced, what I did is I printed off 2 pictures. My parents got a divorce when I was 18, and so that was like a difficult time in my life. And so I printed off 2 wedding pictures. Again, they're kind of hard to see. I feel like I'm a beauty blogger at this point. And this is of my mom and my dad, and then my mom and my stepdad. So that's representative of that. And then of something that was hard from the school year, I actually printed off the front page of the New York Times the day that my daughter was born, June 19th, 2020. This was the headlines, and this is representative of trying to balance being a mom and a teacher in the middle of a pandemic and how that was difficult. Okay, moving right along. We're almost done here. Artifact 3, you're going to have, it does my history, shape my present and future. And this was when we did March Madness. You'll have your journal entry and then an artifact that represents your family's heritage and an artifact that represents your identity outside of your family. So this one, for my family's heritage, my mom's side, way down the line, is British. And so I have a packet of tea for that. And then for, it's over here because I had to use it today, something that is my identity outside of my family, I would do my badge because it says I'm a teacher. Okay. Then your last one is how do people change and adapt to extreme circumstances? Your journal entry, an artifact that represents who you want to be in the future and how you want to impact the world, and then an artifact that would act as a reminder or encouragement when your dream seems far away or unattainable. Okay? For the one about my dreams seeming far away and unattainable, where are you? I have, I should probably go back to the camera. This is a bracelet that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas this year. It says my daughter's name on it. And that's something that motivates me moving forward. And then I forgot to print it off, but I would put into just a picture of someone speaking. I like this idea of using your voice for good and bringing about change by doing that. Okay, so you'll notice you're going to have 8 different artifacts in there, okay? You don't have to write about those artifacts. You will do something else with those. And then at the bottom, it says the exterior of it, okay? And this is what I have already gone over. So you just need to make sure these things right here are on your box or container somewhere, okay? You are doing awesome. I know this is kind of a long video, so I'm going to finish it up and show you, since you're virtual, this is going to be just a little bit different how you're going to turn it in. Because obviously I'm not going to see your physical time capsule. So in your virtual reading course on Schoology, you'll go to the final project time capsule. I put the slideshow that I went over with you guys right here. And then the planning sheet is right here too. You don't have to do anything with it. You're just going to use that as a checklist, okay? The first part of it is you are going to turn in, and you're actually going to turn in a journal. I have your planning sheet right there. This is very easy, okay? You are going to put your name right here. And then you are going to reflect on 4 questions, one for each artifact. So you are just going to write a paragraph. Why do relationships matter? You're going to reflect right there. Artifact 2, how do our experiences and what we read influence our thinking? You're going to reflect right there. Artifact 3, how does my history shape my present and future? Answer it right there. And artifact 4, how do people change and adapt to extreme circumstances? And you'll write it right there. Okay? That's all you have to do. You don't have to print it off. You don't necessarily have to talk about the objects in your time capsule. You're just reflecting. Okay? This is the reflection piece of it. And then you'll submit that. And then when you are completely finished, making your time capsule and finding your objects and putting them in there, you are going to show me on a flip grid. And it'll be under the same class. All you're going to do is you are going to record a video of yourself, kind of like what I did. You're going to record a response, and it doesn't have to be like explaining every single thing ever, but you're just going to go through and just like I did and showed you guys, you would show me the outside of your time capsule. You're going to show me each part of the bullet points, like this is spring, this is summer. And then you're going to show me the 8 artifacts in there. Remember, they're pretty fast. Like I was like, this is some tea. Because my family's heritage, you'll just go through the different parts and you're going to explain to me why you chose that object and what it represents. Okay? So it's 2 parts to it. I'm going to be grading you on your journal, the outside of your time capsule, and your objects on the inside. Okay? I need to see quality work and that you critically thought about it and put it together. This is due May 21st. And that's when all your missing work and everything is due by. Okay? So May 21st is next Friday. This should be an easy, kind of fun, relaxing project. Remember, you're going to do the journal, decorate the outside of it, and then find the objects to put in your time capsule and create a video to show me. It shouldn't be something that stresses you out or takes you too long at all. I want this to be a good kind of reflection project for you. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you have any questions about your grade. I would be more than happy to help you. And have fun. I'm excited to see them. Bye.